Jimmy McAllister found the net. Goal for Wednesday.
Terrific goal by Taylor.
Chris Waddle, is he going to have a crack?
Oh, he does, and it's goal. Still Glenn Wheeler. Aidan Fred works the
Is there time for a winner?
The only organised protest. They've not been around long. What else do they do? These are just some of the questions and comments that people have been lobbying towards the Sheffield Wednesday Supporters Trust in recent weeks. So I thought we'd get someone on to answer some of those, as well as give a bit of an update as well. Hello and welcome to Wednesday Tie-Dye Podcast. I'm James Mappin. I'm delighted to say that I'm joined by the chair of the trust, Mr. Ian Bennett. Ian, mate, how's things? Are you all right? All good?
Good evening, everybody. Fantastic, mate. Getting ready for Thursday, but travel down to London for an hour down there and see what mayhem and chaos we can cause down there, mate. But anyway.
Ian, this has been a common occurrence, not necessarily coming on the pod, but the media appearances that you've been doing in the recent weeks and months. It's you're on the telly more than Coronation Street at the moment.
I think I've always said I've got a face for radio, so it's not very good, is it, mate? But anyway, yeah. Yeah, I've got my missus screaming at me saying I've got a loose tombstone. Each time I've done that, it's all I've died a death, won't it?
Well,
so,
I was just about to say, Ian, I mean, in the nicest way possible, but I hope I'm not seeing you on the TV as much as what we have been, because that'll mean that things are sorted and things are going okay. But we'll have to wait and see on.
Get back into some routine and go for a pint before match instead of walking across Hillsborough Park, whatever. Yeah,
exactly. I mean, just before we start as well, if anyone does have any questions for Ian, then do get them in the comments. I'll endeavour to try and read some of them out a little bit later on. I'll bookmark them and I'll come back to them a little bit later and things. But I do want to stress as well, Ian isn't part of the football club. So as to why we didn't sign more than one player yesterday, well, I don't know. You might know the answer, Ian, but I'm probably guessing you haven't got the exact answers on that. Let's start with that though. Really, also we'll come on to the trust stuff in a bit, but it's relevant. The transfer window is just shut. Ian, it has to go down as probably the worst transfer window of the club's history. I think one player and one emergency loan. It's not great, is it, Ian?
I think in my lifetime, it's unbelievably the worst. Yeah, I think everybody feels the same. We all look forward to the start of the season. We all look forward to seeing some nice new signings to try and get behind the team. And what we've had is doom and gloom coming out of the club. One man to blame. The manager's doing his best. We've got young lads trying their hardest. We've got a team of experienced players who are trying to hold it all together. We're on the sidelines doing what we can. Just a disaster of a summer, and it complete disaster.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think we all kind of expected it really deep down, but when it kind of plays out in front of your eyes, and I must admit, it does hurt when you see them down the road. I know they're below us, and I'm going to keep telling all my United mates that they are still below us as it currently stands. But you see them signing players left, right, or any club really signing players left, right, and centre, doing kind of what football clubs should be doing, and then we're just sat floundering, with a threadbare squad. Was it 12, 13 fit players now? Now we've brought another youngster in. I think I listed. I think these 11 or 12 players over the age of 21 in the squad, which is, and I know we were asking about, bringing that average age down, but I mean, this does take the piss a little bit, doesn't it, Ian?
Absolutely. Yeah. And some of them lads are doing really well. I mean, obviously we boycotted the cup game, but I went a Bolton, and that was an incredible performance from a team that were just bands. And you're seeing some of the memes and some of the stuff out there, the one where the Leeds lads are crying over the top of a load of babies. That's what it feels like to me. It's crazy.
Just on that, Ian, obviously Jamal Lowe came out before the Leeds game. Obviously, it was on Sky Sports, and the comments that he made, basically saying that we know that fans want to be here, but we understand why they're not. With all the stuff that you're trying to do with the protests and stuff, I suppose you're quite pleased and happy that the players are coming out and saying that sort of stuff, that they're kind of with us, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. It feels like the only positive that's come out of all this is everybody seems to be pulling together. There is odd pelter coming towards us, but in general, I would say 90% of people support what we're doing. The players are obviously supporting it, and that's never happened, has it, at Hillsborough before? We've never had sort of that unit. One or two issues with other supporters groups, but I shout, please back us, please do what we can. We've got one aim, and that is to get Mr. Chansiri out of the club and get some stability in there. And
yeah,
I think everybody feels the same, don't they? That's the players. That's it. I mean, they must feel it. It's all right, people saying the players don't worry about the players with the wages. They're on good money, but they've got a short lifespan. They'll have a big mortgage to pay. They must worry about payments like everybody else does, like the poor people in the club shop, like the people who work at the club. Shocking state of affairs it is.
Yeah, exactly. And it just shouldn't happen, whether they got money or not. It just, if you're expected to be paid on a certain day, that just should just happen. That's just part of business. That's no matter how much you get paid. We did just lose you for a second on there. I know you're having a few connection issues. It was fine. So fingers crossed the connection does hold, but we'll have to just see how we go on with that one. Ian, I know you're going to answer a few questions and outline some of the plans and things like that, and we'll do that in a second. But I just want to kind of run it back before this shit show. If you can actually, I know it's been going on for a while, but there was a time when Dejphon Chansiri didn't own Sheffield Wednesday Football Club. But like for people that don't know who you are and things like that, when did it start for you? And by that I mean kind of following Sheffield Wednesday, Ian.
Right. So following Sheffield Wednesday, 19, believe it or not, I'm going to show my age now, guys. So yeah, I know I'm not as I don't look as old as I am, but 1964, my dad took me to a game against Blackpool. That was the first time. But a season ticket since 1969, and believe it or not, the game the other night was the first game I've missed at Hillsborough since 1986. So that proves how hard it were for me to boycott that game. Right.
Yeah.
I've done all sorts to get to Hillsborough. I've cut holidays short. I've flown home, left my wife in different places. We've missed weddings. We've done all sorts to get to Hillsborough to go to the game. But I'm not the only one. There's hundreds out there like that, if not thousands, who are that dedicated. So that my life following Wednesday has been 70s, travelling with the Gate and the Travellers, famous pubs at Wasley Bridge, going on their coach to matches. Latterly driving lads, because I don't drink anymore, unbelievably so. But yeah, so it's me who's designated driver. Odd minibus I take. So every game home and away for me. And a lot of people, regulars, will know me face. They'll be before all this started with the trust and it all kicked off. Just regular at the game. Be it lads who drink on Hillsborough Corner through to corporate people. My own business has sponsored the club a couple of times at match ball level and had a box. And, it's gone on for me since I was a kid.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, when it comes to the trust then, Ian, I mean, just on that, when you're talking about your kind of background and stuff, one thing that I know we've spoke privately about it as well, but and we'll come on to talk about the trust in more detail in a second, but there's a big range of people and kind of demographics in the trust, different, different people from different walks of life in there, which gives a bit of a rounded outlook on things, doesn't it, Ian?
Very, very, very much so. I think people see me as the bit of the figurehead and the voice. That's not true. I'm not the brains. I'm just the mouthpiece. They've picked me. Don't ask me why. I'm not best looking lad on there. So yeah, 20 years ago we might have had a shout, but I'm a bit grey and a bit fat and a bit old now, mate. But yeah, but we've got professionals. We've got people from academic background. We've got accountants on there. Really, really hardworking people. We've got people running protests and organising them. It really is a good outfit now. I've been chair for a couple of years now, and we've developed beyond recognition from when I first started. We had hardworking guys on there, but there were only a few of us on there. The membership, obviously, has trebled probably a little bit more. Obviously, the stuff that's going on at Hillsborough has contributed to that. But I think also we're trying to, prove a point that fans groups can be constructive as well as destructive. We're not only there to protest, we're there to help. And when it all ends, we'll be there to help for supporters. We'll be out there able to probably liaise with a different owner and probably add things to the club, that helps.
Yeah, definitely. Because you've not been part of the trust since its inception, have you? You kind of came along a little bit later. But what made you join the trust in the first place, Ian?
Well, I've been involved in different things. I used to travel away with Chapeltown Supporters Club when the sports club were in existence, and I always thought supporters groups were good. I just couldn't find one that I linked with. I find that the trust, because it's a democracy. Anybody can join, anybody can get involved, and just come along and help out, and then get voted onto the board, if you like, or even any one of the working parties. And I found that really, really attractive because of the way that it's spread. The demographic of the trust. Sorry, I need a cup of tea, kid. Anyway, yeah, or a Jack Daniels, but that's a long time.
Well, yeah.
Demographic of the trust is fantastic because, like you've just said, James, we've got everybody from, I'm going to say, the old before the game travels on some of the pub coaches, right through.
Looks like we've just lost Ian there for a second.
I really do think that. Sorry, mate, we lost again, but I really do think that makes us stand out from other people who represent smaller demographic. E.g., the ladies group do a fantastic job representing ladies. The Rainbow Owls represent their people. Armed Forces Owls represent ex-armed forces. You can go through it all. Wise Old Owls represent the older end. Soda represent the disabled. So we really are, like an umbrella, if you like, across that, because we've got all the people, all the different supporters involved in the trust.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, when you were talking about kind of you following Sheffield Wednesday, John said that you're a part timer. Yeah, and then we've got Alex saying big shout out to you, Ian, for all you've done, and the rest of the guys at the Supporters Trust. If it is right that Chansiri is 80% down on revenue, if this goes on, how long do you think it'll last? We'll come on to that in a second. Alex, do keep all your comments coming in as well. In terms of, I've seen people saying kind of, or questioning what the trust have done and what their importance is and stuff like that. Obviously, at the moment, there's a massive focus on getting Dejphon Chansiri out of the football club, but that's not only the only thing that the trust do, is it, Ian? There's other things that you've done in the past, even before all the protests. Yeah.
Just today we've handed a check over to the Children's Hospital for three and a bit grand. Just raising, people who didn't go to a game, bringing that in. So we do charitable stuff. We work in community. We've organised all sorts of different events. And the trust went on. It was formed. I got involved just after COVID, and I joined the trust then. But it was formed in the fallout after all the share issues and stuff like that. When Mandarich bought the club out, and it's been around since then in one form or another. So when I joined up, I was proud to be asked to be chair, and I felt that at that time that's what we needed. We need to reconnect with the real supporters and not be seen as just this talking shop. And I think we've been successful in that. People don't realise what goes off behind the scenes, all the working groups that are going off, the stuff we're doing, investigating the finances, etc., etc. Obviously, we've linked up with MPs now, so it's a fantastic entity on its own, and I'm so proud to be chair. I'm proud of the lads who work on there. There's a saying, and I know you know Jake Lee, but Jake comes out with it: not all heroes wear capes. And I think the people behind the scenes are heroes. The amount of work that goes in is incredible.
Yeah, and obviously it's all voluntary as well. These people, I'm sure we would prefer not to be, or you prefer not to be doing all this sort of stuff, and it's obviously taking up a lot of people's time and effort and things like that. And I mean, do you when you take a step back though as well? I mean, I know obviously as I've just mentioned, we prefer not to be in this situation, but the way that everyone's come together and the way that kind of the media have now taken up on this, and now there's other, I mean, you've even got other supporters groups like the London Owls, which are doing the protest on Thursday. When you take a step back, you look, you think actually, yeah, it's quite, I suppose it's quite moving really that everyone has come together in the way that they have done.
I think the proof for me, and has been for a long time, is how wide a base Wednesday support is and how large it is. Yeah. So we've got people in America. We've got obviously the London Owls are coming to the fore. We've got all the local supporters groups that have all got members. But to see everybody pulling together is fantastic for me. And I know sometimes we're divisive, but all we do is do us best. And we are trying to get Mr. Chansiri to leave the club, and let's move the club forward. That's what we see. The broad demographic and our members vote on that quite regularly. We have votes all the time about different actions. And part of that, obviously, at the minute, is we've took the mantle up at demonstrations.
Yeah, I mean, as you mentioned, demonstrations there is going to be one on Thursday outside the Thai embassy. We spoke to Alan from the London Owls, I think that was last Friday, and talking about that. But you guys are putting on a minibus sort of coach to take some people down, aren't you, as well?
That's right. Yeah, we've got a few places left. So if anybody wants to jump on, it's free. We're funding it, but we're asking for a bit of a donation again to go to somebody part to charity, but somebody to help keep the funds up for demonstrations. But it's there. We're leaving Hillsborough outside the COP at 11 o'clock, and we're coming back after the demonstration at 6 o'clock. So it's going to take a large chunk out of your day, but I'm sure it'll be worth it. It'd be good to meet up with some lads at London Owls, who I have seen at matches, but we've never met formally, and it'd be really nice. And it's good that another supporters group is taking that mantle of demonstrations on. It is time consuming, as some of the lads will speak up or organising it. Generally, it falls on me to be front it away because I go away every week and a lot of lads don't. So but that's we're fighting for our club. We're fighting the survival of the club. I think a lot of people are buying into that now and realising that now. But we've got to really keep the pressure up. I think personally the boycotts are working. He's obviously got no money. He couldn't put any money up to try and sign some players. So it's telling on him. There's a massive month in September. If we can keep it up through September, I can see the point where he's going to be forced into some kind of action.
When you hear people talking about like 80% down, obviously that was after the Stoke game, the first home game of the season. Obviously 80% down on match day takings versus kind of other weeks other game weeks last season. I suppose when you hear that, because they're not a pound in the ground and things like that. All right, you can do the eye test. You can have a look and go, doesn't look as busy and things, and very, the kiosks, there's no queues and stuff like that. But when you hear that that figure and that 80%, I suppose you're right in what you're saying there. It is really hurting him because that is a considerable amount. Same with the boycott for the Leeds game as well. I know people were saying, there's still 4,000 Wednesdayites that have bought a ticket. That would have been 25,000 guaranteed, a minimum for that game, and there was only 7 or 8, and obviously there was a full Leppings Lane end as well.
For me, everybody does everything right. If we do one thing between us, or any of us do it, that'd be brilliant. If we do everything ground where there's not a pound in the ground, we don't buy match tickets for cup games. We don't spend in the club shop. That's fantastic. But if you do one of them, at least one of them, it's hurting. I can't ask people to do things they don't want to do, and if they don't feel comfortable with going at match, boycotting match, fine, go. We know you're Wednesdayites. You know your heart's in the right place. Just pick one of them things, please, and do it, and it'll work. Honestly, it'll work. It's hitting him in his pocket. Everything points to that, and it's brilliant. Again, I don't want people turning on people. I walked down around the back of the COP last Saturday. I couldn't believe how dead it were. It was fantastic. 1 or 2 people we have here in the hand. Fine, if that's what we can't complain. 1 or 2 people having a dig. Please don't. People choose to what they do. We can't tell them what to do. But obviously the majority are sticking to it and it's working.
Well, that's the thing as well. You're never going to get 100% unless you physically pull the shutters down on the kiosks. You're not going to get 100% of people not doing something. Like, there will be some people that aren't watching this today. They're not on social media. They might just be casual football fans and they're just not fully aware. Am I aware of what's happening at Crawley Town? No, I'm not. But if I'm working down there and I might go to a match. Do you know what I mean? I'm not going to be looking on X and finding out all these all these things. You know, these other people. So I do echo those. I think we mentioned it at the weekend as well. Like, let's not get on people's back just because they've bought the lad a packet of sweets. Do you know what I mean? It's, as long as on the whole, it is definitely working. Obviously, if people want to join the trust as well, it's swfctrust.co.uk. Ian, why do people need to join the trust? I won't say need. Why, if people choose to join the trust, like why should they? If you know what I mean.
Right. If you choose to pay to join the trust, it's a tenner. To be honest, what's a tenner? Right. The more people we've got, the better it is. Our voice gets larger and larger and larger with every person that joins. Secondly, if you want to get involved, it's a democratic organisation. You can vote me off. I hope at some point they do, because I'll need a rest. But anyway, yeah. And I'm sure my missus does. And I'll tell you a story about Bolton game in a minute. But yeah, my missus has had it all our married life, and I've been married 40 years this year. I keep giving my age away, mate. But yeah, and she's had it, everything, absolutely everything she's had thrown at her, and she's still here. God bless her. But so to join the trust, show your support, act as one. We're the largest supporters group. We're democratic. You'll get a say. Everybody gets a say. There's a vote in what we do. We don't just act and do it. Everybody seems friendly. They're all right. All trust members see, and there's like we said earlier, there's a massive cross demographic. So there's people from every walk of life. These people I've known since 70s when we used to travel. You go to Millwall on a Tuesday night with three coach loads, and somebody chucks an axe head at you and you're ducking. You know, them memories live forever, don't they? Right? Yeah. And now they're all my age and they're all old and withered and go for a pint before game. But even them are coming to talk. You know what I mean? So the demographic's brilliant, and I really, really encourage people to join. At the minute, there's an associates membership as well, which costs nothing. Right, you can join and it puts your name on it and it boosts our numbers. The thing with that is you don't get involved in any votes or any democratic side.
Yeah, I think I'm right in saying as well, like, so when you put stuff out and then people say, I've not received that email, and that'll probably be because they've gone to the full members and not the associate members. Obviously, associate members still get emails and regular stuff and updates, but obviously there's stuff that goes to the members and stuff that just goes to the associates. That's right. I think I'm right in saying that, yeah.
That's 100% right. Yeah, most of the newsletters go to everybody, or should do. And if you're not getting them and you remember, please let us know, because obviously we're all volunteers, and because of the growth in the membership, it's been a nightmare trying to keep, email addresses up to date, etc., etc. So the lads who are on the comms are working on that, and it's getting closer and closer to perfection. So people who have been missing probably will get the emails. Again, you've got, as you mentioned earlier, got to remember we're all volunteers. We're working as backsides off. I'm going to swear them boys. Yeah.
you can do if you want, mate. It's absolutely fine. It's not after 9, but we don't have to adhere to the watershed. No. I mean, look, I'm going to come to some comments because there's some support for you here. You've got Paul Pashley. Massive shout out to Ian and the hard workers at the trust. It won't be forgotten. Kerry said, I want to thank you all for everything you've done for our club, especially since you are all just volunteers. And Stephen says you're doing a great job. Well done to you all. When is the next members meeting? Do you know when the next members meeting is, Ian?
Yeah, we had a meeting yesterday, a board meeting yesterday. Obviously, it was packed because of what's going off. The hour and a half turned into, I think, like a Chansiri meeting. Yeah, so, yeah. But anyway, yeah. And James Silverwood actually chaired it because I would have waffled on and it had gone on for even longer. But anyway, yeah. So what we're planning to do is we're going to try and have another fans forum, I think. Yeah. Okay. And try and put everything across. And obviously, if you're up for it, we'll get you to broadcast it again, James.
Yeah, just give me a bit more of a heads up than last time, Ian, if that's all right. But yeah,
we'll get a lift with gear as well this time instead of expecting you to lug it all in on your own. Yeah, but
it's all right. So, I'll be more than happy
if we have the same place, if you can make the bloody technology work there as well, we are having to start plugging stuff in. We didn't know what.
Look, as long as Bingo doesn't start getting called out halfway through like last time, I think we should be. I think we should be all right.
You'll be all right, yes, mate. That was you pressing buttons. That was you pressing buttons. All right.
Anyway, we'll gloss over that. I can see the questions coming in as well. I've just got some of my own as well. Obviously, there was the engagement panel meeting. Well, actually, there wasn't. That was the whole point of it. Supporters groups as well as yourself that are on that engagement panel came out with kind of a joint statement. Just want to kind of expand on that, because that meeting hasn't taken place yet and looks like it probably won't take place at the moment.
Yeah, so I suggested a form of words to the EP, which they actually took up, and that would be my role as a member of the EP and not as the trust, if you like, as a trust representative, and that was to ask for an independent chair, which we decided we were going to ask the FSA to do it. That's the Football Sports Association, if nobody knows. Yeah, which several as are members, we're the full members, but several other fans groups are associate members. And one question: when are you going to go? Now, they all took that up, but also on top of that, our board recommended that we ask for a couple of other things, which was to try and stream it live and to allow MPs to be involved in it. So we got, like, if you want, witnesses to what we're going off, because it's always been behind closed doors. None of the suggestions were taken up by the club and they refused. So I'm grateful to the other supporters groups, and I don't want that to be sound condescending. But I'm grateful that they didn't go and they stuck to the guns, because we've got to teach Mr. Chansiri that he don't control us, basically, and don't divide us either. No matter if we're falling out or arguing, we've got to stick together, and that's the whole point. Yeah. So,
yeah, definitely. You may or may not be able to answer this question, because I know obviously some of that stuff doesn't come out and things, but has there been any talk of it being rescheduled or anything like that, or more? Sounds like a transfer. There's more negotiations.
Yeah, as far as I'm aware, no. I've seen nothing on the EP chat. Obviously, we've got at the minute a vote out there amongst our members to see if we want to stay as members. I know this talk amongst the other members are trying to either change the EP or actually pull out and form something else. We acting on sort of instructions from the FSA on how we're going to do that and restructure it. So at the minute, I'm going to say no. We weren't even sure Mr. Chansiri was going to turn up to that meeting. We don't know what it would call for. It was just a mystery. Obviously, one of the EP is a member of the staff at Hillsborough, and he sits on it as well. So it is, in theory, it's a really good thing. And I still think an engagement panel of such is a good thing for all the fans groups to be on. I just want it to be structured for the fans' benefit and not for the club's benefit.
Exactly. Yeah, I do agree with that one. Ian, what are I've seen a lot of people asking about kind of protests and stuff in the comments. What are the plans moving forward? Obviously, we've got the international break, and we've already spoken about the London Owls doing the protest outside the Thai embassy on Thursday. But what are the plans moving forward? Obviously, we've got Bristol City a week on Saturday. Is there anything that's in the pipeline that you can share, maybe?
Yeah, we're hoping for some really impactful stuff. We can't do protests and high profile protests every game. It's easier away from home with a smaller amount of people than it is at home, especially when you get help from the club. We're getting no help from Wednesday at all. They won't allow banners in. It's really difficult. So we're going to pick matches. We're going to pick the Sky matches as well for obviously impact, if he's still there, but obviously we know at the minute, yeah. There's nothing I want to relay now, because there's about half a dozen really good, impactful things we're going to do over the next few games, and getting it booked, getting it organised. The lads who are organising that have got to work on that together. But one of the things we've got is, and I know you're working on the protest shirts, but one of the things we've got is, we're trying to get hold of, thousands of yellow and black scarves that we're going to sell at a flat rate. And on 10 minutes every game, we're going to do a protest. Now, there was the original Turn Your Back on Chansiri. We had the Police Sing Songs on Saturday. We came in 5 minutes late for the Leicester game, which was the most impactful protest I think anybody's ever done. and got lots and lots and lots of coverage. So we're on for every game doing something on 10 minutes as well as all the other stuff, but making that a regular occurrence. We're hoping that we can get enough scarves out there and enough people buy them, or we donate them or whatever, and wave them on 10 minutes, the black and gold, as well as any other protest that we're doing. So we're working on that. And I know you've had Jake on here, Jake Lee. Jake Lee and Otto are the guys who are talking to different clubs and pulling all the ideas in that we all come up with and people from outside come up with for protests, seeing whether they're legal or not, making sure we can do them, working with other football clubs. Brilliant, honestly. Them two guys are fantastic at it.
One thing I want to say as well, not just kind of to people listening more than anything else. Obviously, I spoke to the Reading lot, Sell Before We Die. Obviously, I know they've now, hopefully on the straight and narrow now, and that's all been sorted. But when I spoke to them, they were saying how, it doesn't have to have everyone involved or everyone on board for something to be successful. And I think our fans need to recognise that as well. I go back to like the boycott as well. Doesn't need to have 100% of people doing, it doesn't need, we don't need, if there's 19,000 fans there at the next home game, they don't need 19,000 scarves to be swung around the head in order for it to be a successful protest. So when we see things happening and things like that, don't say, well, he didn't do it, so it's not working. Like that's not the case. There's all different things, and I've seen that you've been doing loads of different things that different people can get involved with and kind of choose to do one of them or all of them or anything like that. And I just want to kind of say to everyone, really, like, look, it is. The protests are definitely working. You aren't going to get 19,000, 20,000 people marching through Hillsborough, but the people that did turn up, it made it quite impactful. Just another one, Ian. As time has gone on and things have come out and stuff, and we see now that there's no players that are coming in. The player that did come in, we're not even contributing towards him whatsoever. So that wage bill has been slashed massively. The wage bill is considered down on what it would have been. We hear that Barry Bannon's taken a huge pay cut as well. As to whether that's true or not, who knows? We'll just have to wait and see. But is there a distinct worry from you, Ian, that Dejphon Chansiri is just getting it to a point where he can fulfill, the financial obligations, and then at that point, because everyone's waiting for the independent regulator to come in, if he's paying the wages and he's not really breaking any rules, just the fact that we are absolutely dog shit and falling through the leagues isn't really a concern for the regulator. Is that something that you're worried about, that he's just going to get to that point where can't really do anything to him?
Yeah, very, very much so. We're worried that he can limp along. Just don't want that to happen. That's where the bank, the boycott comes in, starving him of any extra cash. He's obviously got this £500,000 a month that comes from EFL, but quite obviously they're controlling that to make sure things get paid, which is great. I just concerned that he's going to limp along. I don't think he can, but I am worried that he could. Yeah, I don't think with all the goodwill in the world, he can't carry on. He can't even. I don't think he could even come back to Sheffield, to be honest. I think the reception he'd get would be absolutely appalling. We're all hoping against hope somebody comes along and buys the club, right? It seems that we have false dawns. It seems there are people out there who want to buy the club. There's stuff going on behind the scenes that could help push that along. Again, I can't say a lot, but as well as I do, James, we've got financial guys chasing stuff and chasing monies and trying to find if there has been any naughtiness going off at the club, which could help the EFL to get him out. And
yeah, just to put in there, but I think that is, I've been perfectly honest, I think that is our biggest hope, and the quickest way that we can get him out of the club is by doing exactly what happened at Reading, and Reading found something. Reading fans found something on Dai Young, and that's what disqualified him as an owner, and then kind of forced the hand in terms of selling the club. And I know they struggled to find a buyer, and I don't think we would really struggle, to be fair. Once it's already out there that has to happen, in him him sell the club. But I do. If there's anyone out there that can help, or knows anyone that can help, or anything like that, please do come forward. And also as well, I think I say this every time you come on. If your line of work, or you feel you've got some expertise in some area, do get in touch with the trust. Go to the website, drop a message on the socials, and tell them what you can do, and I'm sure you'll be more than happy to get them on board. There's a message here from Flash from earlier. Are plans being made by the trust regarding early bird season tickets this Christmas, essentially encouraging people not to renew and continue to fund DC? Yeah, that is the next thing that's probably on the horizon, like the big one. That is the one where he gets the vast majority of his money, or it seems that way anyway. I know we're not there yet, but what's your thoughts on that?
Well, obviously that's been discussed at length. Yes, there'll be something coming out about it before he actually releases them. I think there's a massive amount of money due at the end of this month that we don't think he's got the money to be able to pay, including a payment on the loan on the ground. Obviously, there's still the wages, there's HMRC to satisfy. We don't think he's anywhere near enough money to do that. So we think that they're going to put the season tickets on really early this year. And we're going to try and ask people to hold out if they can. Again, a very difficult decision to make, especially if you go regular, like I do. It saves you a fortune in money. It guarantees you tickets. You've got to think about it twice. But I've got to really push the fact that short-term pain is long-term gain. If we don't buy season tickets by then, if he's not gone by then, that would finish him off without a doubt. And that is, I'm sure, what he's trying to limp to get to that.
Yeah, it's such a hard decision, though, isn't it, Ian? When you've just spoken about, the Leeds game was the first game that you've missed in God knows how many years and stuff. And I know there's going to be people. We know we've got a big fan base. When we get relegated, we know that the away tickets are like gold dust. The away allocations are going to be less. So you'll have people thinking, well, I'm not going to go home, but I want to go to the away games. And then they're like, well, if I don't buy a season ticket, I'm not going to have the 230 TPP points. And it's a massive, I know everyone knows that, I shan't, I need to not buy one because it's, I don't want to fund Chansiri. And I know if people say line in his pockets and stuff like that, I don't think for 1 minute. Well, I hope he's not creaming money off the top, because that would be a huge no. But you want him to get into financial difficulty so that we can keep the pressure on, and so that the regulator can do it. But it comes more than that. It becomes more of a, you're thinking like yourself. All your weekends are taken up by going to Hillsborough or going to Millwall, as you mentioned, or Bristol City, or wherever it may be, and people are going to have to give that up. It's going to be a big decision, isn't it, really?
Massive. Yeah. And we understand that. And again, you can't turn on people who don't do it. You can't push it strong enough to try and starve him of money. It really is difficult for everybody. I think that will be the hardest. And you've said the crunch point. Even if we could half that, and that's a big commitment from people who travel home and away, we could half the amount of season ticket, that would kill him. It would finish him off.
I'm just going to ask the question to people in the chat as well. If you've got a season ticket, will you be renewing your season ticket when it comes out? Just put yes or no simply in the chat. We'll see what people are saying. But yeah, it is a big call, isn't it? And I think there's a comment here from Chris here. Not renewing your season ticket will be a massive breaker that would affect him. I think he would struggle big time without those funds, because you're talking probably £6, £7, £8 million, aren't you? Which we know he gets within a 2-week period, because they're only on sale for 2 weeks at that early bird price.
Yeah, and that's the point, isn't it? It's the point is to try and starve him. But again, such a difficult decision. Wednesdayites are so loyal; they want to go to every game. Like you said, next season it's obviously going to get relegated. We're going to have a points deduction. Having said that, we will be appealing that, and there's something went off with Everton last year. We've got a formal words from Everton supporters group that they went to the appeal and got their points deduction quashed because of how it affected supporters. So if we get a new owner, there's still light end at tunnel. I'm not saying that'll happen. It don't happen to everybody, but we are working on all angles to try and, soften the blow. If we can get rid of him, we can start building and start getting people back. Appeal for people to turn up and fund him, fund the new owner to show support and get behind the team. You never know. Miracles happen, don't they? It's happened in the very recent past. Yeah.
Do you know what? It will happen at some point where Dejphon Chansiri isn't the owner of Sheffield Wednesday, and new owners will come in, and I think it'll be whenever that happens, whether it's this year, next year, whenever it's going to be. I think it'll be such a moot that like the next home game after that happens. Well, it'll be like a carnival, won't it? It'll be just a massive, huge sigh of relief more than anything else. And it'll just be like a party atmosphere. I'm kind of like getting a bit emotional just thinking about it, to be fair. Because that much time and effort and just mentally draining this whole episode has been. And I don't for 1 minute think we're not right at the end yet. There's still a long way to go, but yeah, it will be like a bit of a party. I mean, Long Jericho says it's the year 2045 and Chansiri is still here. Attendance are down to just the 60 of the 10-year season ticket holders. Those 10-year season ticket holders are very much value for money at the moment. I asked if people were going to be renewing the season ticket. Barry says no. Chris, no. Jay, Doug, Joe, Andrew × 4. GUL, Mark, Jay says he's not taking the early bird at this point. Steve, Mark, John, there's loads of people are saying that at this moment in time they wouldn't be renewing the season ticket, and I've seen lots of people already saying that they're not going, or this is their first. They've already made that decision. This is their first season that they've not bought a season ticket. And do you know what? As well, for those. It's not a competition, but for those people, when the season tickets went on sale, we had a chance of getting playoffs, and those people said at that point that enough was enough. I've got a few more comments before I let you go. James says, Ian, any response to the open letter to the Thai ambassador? Just a bit of backstory on that one. There was I think it's the Thai newsroom, like a paper or a media organisation out in Thailand, that a letter was sent, quite a lengthy one. If you go on our socials, you'll see the link to that article as well. But has there been any response? I think it's only gone out today, so I think it's probably jumping the gun a little bit.
No, I think they've accepted that they've got it, but there's been no response from it. I think it was very powerful. That obviously we put that, my name were on it, but we put that together ourselves between us. I'm not that eloquent. All right, guys. So yeah, no, or is it Chat GPT? Might be, but anyway, yeah. But I thought it was very powerful. And I think the demonstration that London Owls are putting on could be really, really, really powerful for their own people. You've got to remember that we've got this bad Thai owner. Thai people are very proud people. They're very, very, very strong-willed people, very proud people. And they're not going to like the fact that one of their own is causing mayhem, basically. And he's causing problems for local communities. He's causing problems, for businesses around the ground. He's causing problems. And I'll go as far as to say, and I know people have reported this, mental health problems for supporters, and that's one man. It's nobody else. It's nothing else. It's one man who's causing that, and that's a massive problem. And any respect that anybody had for him, and I must admit at first, I didn't like the man, but I had a begrudging respect for him because he'd come out and speak. He hasn't spoke at all. My first doubt started in the season, and we signed George Boyd after he put all the season ticket prices up, promising to find quality players. So my doubts started going then. I started worrying then, and they've come to fruition. So the man had 2 years of having a proper posh. Perhaps he should have given up and sold then. And he could have left with some dignity. Now, what's he going to leave with? He's going to live with nothing. He's going to leave with absolutely nothing.
Yeah, for me, there's been numerous opportunities throughout his 10 years where he could have held his hand up and gone, right, this is the time, and move on, and someone would have come in and taken it off his hands. There's been numerous opportunities where he could have capitalised on the goodwill of the football club, namely beating Peterborough and then beating Barnsley at Wembley. And every single time there's been any sort of positive feeling around the football club. Certainly in the last 5 or 6 years, he's just quashed that immediately. I mean, even under all this turmoil, we sign a manager who people are regarding as one of the best managers that we've had, certainly since we've come out of the Premier League. And what happens, that, you know, we've all turned on him, and that's down to one man. Again, it's just really, really sad to see. Steve BDI Smith says, we all know he's a crook. We just need the proof. GE says it's not about promotions, relegations, or cup wins. It's about the future of the football club. Just one thing to finish on then, just this question here from Matt. Would love to know if Ian thinks the situation now is similar to the things at the end of the Dave Allen era, and it'll take a winding up order before Chansiri gives up. I don't see any other way. You've lived through that era, and even the 70s and 80s as well, that people talk about as well. Is this, I think it's different, but is it worse in your opinion, Ian?
I think because of the nature of it, the way he's acted, it's worse. Dave Allen started off and tried to help us as a club, and it went wrong. And because of his personality, I think people turn against him. This guy's different. I think it's vicious. I think it's nasty what he's doing. He's trying to kill the club in front of people's eyes. He's already openly admitted he hates the supporters. What do you do with somebody who's like that? It's impossible. You cannot deal with a man like that. Is it worse? I think so. Is it on the brink of collapse? I think there's so many people out there that want to buy the club. I think there is a future there. Where we'll be when that happens is totally up in the air, isn't it? Yep.
Yeah, I'm just going to bring this one up. Kerry said, how can he possibly fund us in League One without buying players like other clubs? He'll just end up dropping to the conference or us being wound up. I must admit, Kerry, I was saying the same thing today to one of my mates. It is a distinct worry from me that we are just going to fall through the leagues, and he's just going to continue to not say anything, continue to be silent. And also as well, at the point when I referenced the chat that I had with the Reading fan group, and if people want to listen to it, go on the channel, you can find it. Just go back a couple of months now, I think it was. But they said the difference between us and them at the time, and obviously this was before the season had finished, was that they had a silent owner. And it's funny that, because we now have one of those as well. He's not saying anything at all. So yeah, a lot of similarities between the two at this moment in time. Ian, massive thanks for coming on, pal. Do really appreciate it as always. But yeah, I suppose just to finish on, we just want it to be over as soon as possible, don't we, Ian?
Yes, mate. I appreciate you letting me on just to voice a few things you can't do on radio and answer some questions of some supporters, because when you're on radio, you can't always, answer what people want to say. It's nice, and I appreciate your support, as do everybody at the Trust, as you know. It's a really difficult situation we're in as fans. I just call for everybody to pull together. I think anybody who knows me will know I'm full of it. I follow them everywhere. I talk to anybody. I'm approachable. Just come and speak to me if you want to ask anything. Even if I don't like it, I'll answer you. If you want to have a go at me, have a go. I'm here. That's it. That's the shoulders are big enough and daft enough, as they say, mate. Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to say as well that I'm, immensely proud and appreciative of all the work that yourself and everyone else behind the scenes that's been doing as well. It's a thankless task, and like you said, you get a few pelters and what have you, but ultimately you've carried on and done all this, and hopefully it means something at the end. But if one thing I would say as well, it has, even though there is a pockets of infighting, it is simply that, pockets, and it's because people are so passionate about Sheffield Wednesday Football Club as well. But I think on the whole, like, it has brought a lot of people together, and there's a lot of even though it's in a bad situation, there's a lot of good that's come about it, and once this saga is over, I think that good can continue at the football club for the good of Sheffield Wednesday and the fan base as well. But Ian, again, massive thanks for coming on. If people want to sign up to the Trust, I have pinned the comment on YouTube. It should be at the top. It is swfctrust.co.uk. It's a tenner to sign up as a member. So yeah, do go over there and sign up. But thank you very much, everyone. We're going to be back tomorrow for the debate show, same place, same time, 8 o'clock. So that's a chance for you to come on and speak. Please do, and have a chat. Fed up of me talking all the time. I want to hear from everyone else as well. So yeah, and we'll see you then. Cheers.
Cheers.